My name is Scott Custis. I'm Assistant Director of the Arts and Sciences Career Services Office. I've been at Ohio State for about 10 years now, either maintaining existing relationships or going out and trying to develop new relationships with companies and organizations that want to recruit here at Ohio State. The best reason is because, again, I work with the employers and I ask them, should our students be on LinkedIn? And they unequivocally say yes. And they need to have a presence for a couple reasons. The recruiters are actively using LinkedIn as a place to seek out candidates. And so when I talk to students about LinkedIn, I definitely strongly encourage them to join groups. And that's something that, a lot of students, they'll have set up a LinkedIn profile, but they don't know what to do with it afterwards. Either sort of absorb that information or become active in posting on the group's bulletin boards or discussion boards and start to become part of the conversation. And then sometimes recruiters are kind of actively looking in on that. The other important thing with LinkedIn is to create a profile that is definitely, keyword rich, because a lot of when the recruiters do their searches, they'll be putting in a bunch of keyword criteria and looking for, the critical number of matches and things like that. Well, definitely seeking out recommendations, and that is one of the, that's one of the coolest things about the LinkedIn profile, is that you can, embed those recommendations with each job or experience that you have. So that's immediate. It immediately confirms what the applicant is saying that they did, and that's very powerful. But to use it as a source of networking. So I mean, at its heart, LinkedIn really is still a networking tool. But again, a lot of students aren't actively using it in a networking type of capacity. They should, if you go to the Find Alumni tab, and it pulls down a list of everybody in LinkedIn that says that they attended Ohio State University, and there's close to 300,000 entries there just for Ohio State. You're going to have a lot to tap into, and so you could look at it on what that alum studied, what their major was, where they're living now, what company they're working for, and then actually be able to reach out to those people once you've kind of narrowed it down to, here's a group of people that are following a career path similar to what I'm interested in. So there's a lot of potential there with networking, and especially people that might be afraid to walk into a live networking environment. Here's a way for them to do it virtually. No, not at all. It's just a matter of, ideally expanding, a bigger network is better than a smaller network if it's relevant to what you're going after. So, again, it's the same type of thing. The more people that you know and can network with, the more likelihood is that at any given moment, one or another of those people is going to be knowledgeable about an opportunity. So, ideally, there should be no real limits in terms of, what constitutes a good network. Usually students have the opposite problem. Their networks are too small, and they really kind of need to get the ball rolling. And that's why, again, like joining those groups can be really important, because if you don't know a lot of people, you can get yourself noticed by participating in some of the group discussions. Well, it's mostly just like making sure you don't use subjective statements. Those statements that are like, I'm a great people person, or, I have great communication skills, or I work well in teams. There has to be examples of everything. And so I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. So just again, keeping in mind that you still, during that narrative of the summary section, need to use actual examples, talk about, show why you have skills, how they were developed, and then also knowing a little bit about your sort of goals and motivations. That's something that people leave out of the summaries. A lot of times the summary turns into just a regurgitation of the work history and things like that, and so you really want to be using some of that space to talk about just not repeating what's down in the content section, but actually talking a little bit more about goals and motivations and making sure that that's coming through clearly. We often hear from employers, though, that it's kind of more that soft skill dynamic that is a deal maker in a lot of cases. We're hearing from a lot of employers about frustration with the level of quality of verbal and written communication skills, and especially written communication skills. And again, the employer community is very frustrated with this, to the point where they're saying, even if you're, you should, encouraging people to take writing intensive courses, which again, a lot of students very much want to avoid because of the work level and that, but we're hearing a deep level of frustration from the employers on that side, and also just the ability to work well in teams and have that really strong team dynamic, to know when to be a team leader, know when to be a good team follower, just the whole complete package of teamwork dynamism is extremely important to a lot of the employers. And the leadership skills. I mean, again, all other things being equal, they'll probably take somebody maybe with a slightly lower GPA if that person's highly involved and has shown a lot of leadership and involvement activity. And again, especially in corporate America or really across the board, it's a deal breaker in a lot of cases.